Avengers Endgame. What can I say that hasn't already been said? Um, the culmination of about 10 or so years, including about 20 some odd movies, all coming together to show us this event. Probably Martin Scorsese doesn't like it, but given the box office totals domestically and around the world, a lot of people differ. First off, this movie is a revelation. Looking at this movie, I saw myself as a 10-year-old boy again. Just thinking back to all the cartoons I watched. I didn't read too many comics, but just knowing that some of my favorite superheroes will be on one screen at the same time is so mind blowing, and it's unbelievable that they was able to have it all come together in such a glorious way. This is not your typical movie by any means. Um, it's not your typical action movie. Starting off, it's not a lot of fighting going on. It's a lot of talking. It's a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of exposition going on. Actually, you know what? There's not a lot of exposition because this movie doesn't um, lend itself to a lot of exposition. Because if you watch the other 22 movies, that was your exposition. So if you're coming into this movie kind of cold, not seeing any other previous movies, you might be kind of lost. And that's what they was at. That's what they were able to do. This movie has a runtime of about 3 hours, which is unheard of for the most part with these types of movies. So before I do a deep dive into this movie, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the trailer so you can get a little refreshment.
God, seems like 1,000 years ago. I fought my way out of that cave, became Iron Man. Realized I loved you. I know I said no more surprises, but I was really hoping to pull off one last one.
The world has changed. None of us can go back. All we can do is our best. And sometimes the best that we can do is to start over.
I saw all these people die. I keep telling everybody they should move on. Some do, but not us.
Even if there's a small chance, we owe this to everyone who's not in this room to try.
We will. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. I like this one.
Now, if that doesn't give you chills, then I don't know what will. When this movie starts off, it immediately starts off where Infinity War left off. You have Hawkeye, which you haven't seen since Civil War. His family's snapped away by the by the by the snap of Thanos. You see him playing with his little girl, his wife, and two other children. They are having like a little picnic, and then he turns around and they're all gone. And boom, the movie starts. So at this point, we already know that Tony Stark and Nebula are lost in space somewhere. Tony Stark is what's the word? Emaciated. His muscles have deteriorated. He has no life support. The ship has no excuse me. The ship has no fuel, and he looks like he's gonna die. But obviously, there's a kind of a Deus ex machina type situation going on. Captain Marvel saves him, brings him back to Earth. So at this point, they get Tony Stark back, put him under sedation, so the rest of the Avengers can they devise a plan to go get Thanos, and that's where the movie gets real. I'm gonna say they run up on Thanos. They run up on Thanos while he's minding his own business in his own little garden, and they get straight to work. No bullshit. Uh, and if you remember from the previous movie, Thor had the ultimate chance to stop Thanos when he threw his axe at Thanos, but he made a grave mistake by throwing it at his heart, and Thanos is like, stupid, should have aimed at the head, idiot, and so therefore Thanos snaps. So at this point, Thor gets his revenge, and he cuts his damn head off with the quickness. No hesitation. I'm sick of this bullshit. Now, before he does this, they realize that the Infinity Stones are gone. There are no more Infinity Stones. Thanos used the stones to destroy the stones. So there is no hope for everything that they lost in the previous movie. And then cut 5 years. Cut 5 years. The world is still um, recovering from half of its population being snapped away. Captain America is a leader of let's say like a survivors group. He's giving pointers to people who've also lost loved ones. Um, Scarlet Witch, she's kind of like the head of Shield. I wouldn't say Shield because Shield is no more. Black Widow is kind of the head of the so quote unquote new Avengers. So she's sending everybody out on missions to, I guess save the universe. At this point, Steve Rogers comes to talks to Black Widow. They hash it out. They do their little best friend dance. Blah blah blah. Ant-Man shows up. And if you know from Ant-Man and the Wasp, Ant-Man was stuck in the quantum realm. So when he shows up at the Avengers compound, they're looking at him like, "Hey, what the hell are you doing here? We thought you was gone." But he's like, "Nah, I was in the quantum realm." And they say, "Oh, it must have been a long 5 years." Right? He's like, "Hell no, it was shit. It was like 5 hours for me." Which damn shit is still a long time to be stuck in nothingness. But relatively speaking, that was a short period of time. So he devises a plan that he comes up with a plan that says, "Hey, the quantum realm works differently than our world. Time works differently. So if we can go in the quantum realm at one point, we can come out at another point in history and maybe go and save the people we lost, and maybe even grab the Infinity Stones and unsnap everybody." So they go to Tony Stark. Tony Stark now has a family. He's married to Pepper Potts. He has his daughter, Morgan. and they show up at his house, and he's like, "Get the hell off my property. I am not trying to hear nothing about no Avengers. I got what I want. We lost. Take your L and go to fuck home." So they go to fuck home. So they get the next smartest person they know, which is the Hulk. The Hulk is he's the other brains of the Avengers. They figure out how to manipulate time, which they do, but with flaws. They don't quite know how to. They don't quite know how to send people through time, but as opposed to sending time through people, if you know what that means, just means that they don't know how to stop people from aging. Iron Man finally, Tony Stark comes back and he figures it out. He's like, "Hey, I figured it out. I got a space GPS timepiece. Um, this will work. This will help us not send time through ourselves, but send us through time." So at this point, they finally go ahead and try to gather the rest of the team, or what's left of the team, and they execute a time heist. So eventually they go out to get all the stones. Hulk gets the time stone. Tony, Steve, and Ant Man, I forget his name. They go and get the space stone, the soul. No, not the soul stone. They go get the space stone. Damn, what else stone they get? I can't remember what stone they get. But anyway, they go get the other stone. Um, Nebula and Rhodey, War Machine, they go get the Power Stone. Clint, Hawkeye, and Black Widow, they go get the Soul Stone. And Thor and Rocket, they end up going to get the Reality Stone. And while they go get these stones, the movie takes you back to previous movies that you've seen in the MCU, and you get to have a sense of nostalgia for these movies. They let me get my stuff right here. Oh dang. All right. Anyway. Yeah, they take you through these movies that you've seen before, give you a little nostalgia piece. Captain America fights Captain America. Tony Stark finally gets to say all the things he wasn't able to say to his father, Howard Stark, and you know things. They end up getting their stones with relative ease. But however, Hawkeye and Black Widow, they go get the Soul Stone. But if you've seen the previous movie, the Soul Stone requires a soul for a soul. So somebody has to die in order for you to get this stone. Or in other words, how they put it, uh, you have to lose the one you love to get the Soul Stone. So Clint, Hawkeye, and Black Widow, they go blow for blow. They fight each other to see which one is going to get to sacrifice themselves in order to get the Soul Stone. Eventually, uh, Black Widow wins, I guess, if you could say that. She wins by dying. So Hawkeye can get the Soul Stone. So he gets the Soul Stone and they get back. However, when War Machine and Nebula go get the Power Stone from what's the movie? Guardians of the Galaxy. They once they're about to head back to the our time, Nebula is, I guess her files are corrupted or whatever. So the Nebula back from Guardians of the Galaxy, they share a network, like a Wi-Fi connection. It's kind of weird, but yeah. So Nebula from the Guardians of the Galaxy time, she's fighting with Gamora in search of also the Power Stone, um, but they come up with nothing. But they see a transmission from the today's Nebula, and Thanos is like, "What is that?" And they replay the video from when the Avengers killed Thanos, and he's like, "Oh, I must have succeeded in my mission because they chopped my head off because of it. So if they out here collecting the stones, that means I've succeeded. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna switch the nebulas, uh, and then I'm gonna let them collect the stones, switch the nebulas, have the, I guess, evil nebula infiltrate the Avengers, and have her bring me back. That plan works. Um, Nebula is able to infiltrate the Avengers. They come back and they got all the stones. They're sad because Black Widow has died, but they have no idea that the Nebula that they're seeing is the evil Nebula from back in, I think, 2014. So as Rocket and Tony Stark and the Hulk, they're creating a new glove to set the stones in. Nebula goes back to the time machine and brings back the Thanos of the past back to the future. No pun intended. And once they snap, well, just before they snap, Thanos comes to our time, well, the present time, and he he commences to blowing up the ship, blowing up the Avengers compound. After they undo the snap, Thanos has his ship and he just starts unloading rockets and bombs onto the Avengers compound. So everything's all in shambles, blah blah blah. Everybody's everywhere. Nobody knows what to do. Um, so at this point, they realize that they have brought Thanos back, and they have to fight again. So um, Captain America, Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor, they begin to fight Thanos. Thanos is a worthy opponent, so Thanos makes quick work of Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor. He knocks Tony Stark out. Iron Man knocks him out. He knocks out Captain America, and he's got his one little final battle with Thor. And Thor's getting his ass whooped. Um, so Thanos has Thor's axe, and he's about to kill Thor with his axe. He's about to stab him in the chest with the axe, which is kind of ironic because that's how Thor stabbed Thanos in the previous movie. But at this point, you see Mjolnir. How the hell you say that name? The fucking hammer, Thor's hammer. You see it move, and you notice it's not Thor that's controlling the hammer. It's Captain America. And at this point, you're supposed to be like, "Oh, Captain America, he can lift the hammer. I knew it all this time. He's worthy." Blah blah blah. So Captain America ends up fighting Thanos with the hammer and his shield, and he's putting up a pretty good fight until Thanos starts putting that work on his ass, and Thanos wasn't having it. So he's giving Captain America that work. Captain America's shield is being destroyed as he's trying to block attacks from Thanos. And at this time, uh, when it seems like all hope is lost, Captain America has a transmission. Well, here's a transmission on his earpiece, which I never understood why they always have earpieces. Everybody has an earpiece. Anyway, he has an earpiece. He hears a transmission on the earpiece from Sam, the Falcon, and it's like, "Oh, on your left." So that's a callback to Captain America, Winter Soldier, and he's like, "Oh, the snap worked," and next thing you know, the those little realm circles that Doctor Strange does all the time. You see those coming through. You see those popping up everywhere. And the first person to walk through is T'Challa, Black Panther. and then another minute of this, and it's everybody's coming back. So Scarlet Witch shows up through the portal. Drax shows up. Star Lord shows up. Um, Mantis shows back up. You see Okoye from Black Panther. Uh, M'Baku from Black Panther. Uh, Valkyrie from Thor. What else? Who else? God damn it! Who else? It's so many people. So many people show up. Matter of fact, everybody shows back up. Everybody who has had shit, pretty much one. Any good guy who had at least one positive line of dialogue in these movies shows back up. And this is when you know, everybody's back, and they're here to help fight Thanos. So, and blah blah blah. They fight. They fight for another like 40 minutes, and they they succeed in killing Thanos. I'm gonna save what how they actually kill him to the end of the video. But yeah, they end up killing Thanos. They have a that's pretty much the end. Um, so what I want to talk about with this movie is first I want to talk about the emotional resonance of this movie. It if you watched all the movies from 10 years or throughout the 10 years, you should have. Well, obviously, you're a fan, and so you should have an emotional connection with these characters. Um, so when when you see when you see Black Widow dies, it's a kind of a shock to the system because everybody's everybody thinks everybody has bets and they think that either Captain America will die or Iron Man will die. But then the first of the original six to actually die in this movie is Black Widow, which is it's a surprise, good surprise, bad surprise. I don't know. Probably a contract ran out or something. So, but whatever. But yeah, it hits kind of hard. But I will say it doesn't hit as hard as when Gamora died in Infinity War for some reason. I don't know why. But I mean, I thought they probably could have kept Black Widow because I guess just to me personally, that death didn't it didn't resonate with me as much as I think that they intended it to. But somebody got to die for that Soul Stone, so whatever. Let's talk about Thor. Thor. So ever since Thor Ragnarok, Thor has become like almost the comic relief of these movies, which is kind of odd, seeing as how he started out in the MCU. He started out kind of Shakespearean and serious. So when you get to uh, Endgame, he's like the comic relief, and he's funny, legit funny. And people say Chris Hemsworth is funny. I just think he's a good actor. I mean, good actors can take what's on the page, bring it to the screen, and have a connection with the audience. So I think you know that's my feeling on it. They say he has perfect comic timing, which is okay. It's cool, I guess, but I think that comes from more of the directors that are directing him on set. Because the funniest movies that he's been in have been directed by funnier, uh, well, directors that are pretty much known for directing comedies. Because you know the Russo brothers, they come from Community and I think Arrested Development, which are pretty critically acclaimed comedies. And the last Thor movie was directed by Taika Waititi, which he does a great job with comedy. So all in all, I think that his comic timing and his comic presence is is uh, is directly related to the directors that are directing the movie. But anyway, Thor in this movie, he's dealing with kind of like PTSD. He if you haven't heard, he becomes Fat Thor, which is kind of real in a sense because I guess when someone fails, they draw to their vices, and him being a Norse, I think Norse god, he draws to eating and drinking, and with all that eating and drinking, he becomes fat Thor, and he stays fat Thor throughout the whole movie. Because when I saw the movie at first, I thought like as soon as he gets his powers or whatever, they're gonna change him back to sexy Thor, but which they don't. Which I think was kind of cool. That shows a realness in the character and his character arc and his development. Uh, so I really like that, and I look forward to what they're gonna do with that character, um, with the rest of his movies, if they do anything. Uh, what I really don't, I hope they don't try to do more of the same things or try to rehash the same things that they already done with Thor, because I mean, damn, you already seen it. Let's see something new. We know we can be funny, but let's kind of do something different with the character. Anyway, another character, Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel. I'm gonna go back to the movie Captain Marvel. This I did not like that movie as much as I wanted to. I'm not gonna get into the whole reasons why because this is not a movie talk about that movie. But I'm just gonna say I think that they did her. They put her in this movie just enough because she's kind of overpowered, and it kind of takes away the kind of takes away the tension that the others bring to the movie because she's just so damn overpowered. Like, what is the point of the movie? Oh, what is the point of her being there? But yeah, she's not in that too much. Um, let's say Ant Man. Ant Man is Ant Man. He's just he's like the he's like the Avengers little brother. Like, can I go? Can I come too? Like, hey mama, we about to go save the world. Now take your brother, Ant Man. Like, god damn it, I don't want to take this motherfucker. Anyway, yeah, that's Ant Man. He's Ant Man. I like what they did with Hawkeye, Clint Barton. I like what they did with him. He They showed a man that lost everything, so he's gonna take everything. In this movie, he becomes uh, kind of like a mercenary. So he's going around the world killing all the bad guys. So I guess you can say he's a vigilante, which the Avengers pretty much are vigilantes. But he is out there killing people brutally. So I guess uh, in the 5 years from when his family died up to the events leading up to Endgame, I guess he went through some kind of samurai training because this dude is surgical with the samurai sword, and he's out there killing Mexican cartels. He's killing the I guess it's supposed to be the yakuza's. He's giving them all the work they can handle. So yeah, I like what they did with him. Who else? Who else we got? Who else we got? Bruce Banner, the Hulk. So I guess I'm not too big into all the comics, but I guess there's a comic run where Bruce Banner and the Hulk become one, and they name him Smart Hulk, and Smart Hulk and shows up in this movie. They fuse into one, so he's the he has the body of Hulk, but the brain of Bruce Banner. And I'm gonna talk about the CGI with that. That CGI with Smart Hulk is probably some of the best CGI I have seen from a character that has that much time on screen. It looks fantastic. You can tell that it's not real, but it is as real as they can make it look with the amount of money that Disney has. Hulk in this movie doesn't really have a character arc in this movie. I guess because I guess the contract with Universal, they can't really do too much with Hulk. He's more of a side character, which I think he works as a side character. Because the other movies with Hulk is, well, everybody knows the John Woo Hulk was trash ass movie, put it in the wax stack. Um, but the Incredible Hulk, that was a Marvel Studios movie, which is better. But I didn't think it was. It's kind of like one of the worst. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not one of the, it's not the one of the best Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. But who else? So I'm gonna say let's go with Captain America. Captain America in this movie is he is the reason for the season. Captain America, he's just such a guy. Like you would think that somebody being that good at two shoes would kind of get on your nerves, but it doesn't for the most part because he's just real. Like he is who he is, and you're gonna have to deal with it. Let's get to let's get to old boy. Let's get to Iron Man. Iron Man, Tony Stark. So so I said I was gonna save what happens at the end of the final battle to later on in the video. This is now that time in the video. Iron Man dies on the battlefield. Iron Man is the one that puts on the Iron Man glove, and he puts the stones in his glove, and he snaps away Thanos. He is the one. So if you know that he Iron Man, Tony Stark, he's just a human. His super ability is his superhuman ability is that he's just super damn smart, overly smart. But that does nothing physically for him. So when he puts the stones in his glove and he snaps away Thanos and his army, that's going to kill him, and it does. And but this this scene when that happens, that is the I would say that is the best um, that is the best death in one of these movies. Um, period. Because during that final battle, you think that uh, Thanos has won again. He has the stones in his glove, and he's about to make a snap, and it's a snap, and he says, "You can't defeat me," something like that, and I am inevitable. And he snaps, but nothing happens. So he looks back at his glove, like, "What the hell happened to my jewels?" And he notices, he looks back at Iron Man, and Iron Man, he has his glove up, and he's like, and you see the stones rising up on his glove, and he's like, "Bitch, I told you, I'm Iron Man," and he snaps Thanos and his army away. And if you notice, and if you've seen these movies, you know that Tony Stark saying "I am Iron Man" is a callback to the first movie in the MCU, where at the end of that movie, Iron Man, he says "I am Iron Man." So that was a great callback, and it resonated emotionally, at least for me, at that point. And then that's the end of the movie. You know what? I would say all the movies are in all the movies in the MCU, which is about 20, 21, 22, or something like that. All those movies are like an episodes of a television series, and I would think this movie is the perfect season finale of that season. The way they concluded it. This wasn't really a review of a movie. This is pretty much a discussion of a movie. But if I was to review the movie, and uh, I'll talk about the cinematography, the acting, the direction, and all that shit. I mean, everything was right on par with what you've already seen in the MCU. I mean, nothing new. But as far as the story is it's not really that original. It's time travel. We've seen that. But the way that you do things that have already been done in movies, you have to do them in a new way. And I think they they did that for the most part. As far as the time travel aspect is, they set up their own rules in the movie with time travel, and they stuck with those rules. But with time travel movies, you always gonna have those questions about, wait, how the hell can you do this and this doesn't happen and all that shit. But you just have to take it for what it is. Um, the direction, I mean, it's Russo brothers. It's pretty much the same as Infinity War, Civil War, and then Winter Soldier. Um, yeah. So if I was, you know, what I'm saying, if I was to grade this movie on a scale from, I don't know, I haven't really got my grading system down yet, but I'm gonna definitely say this movie is up there with the top tier. By no means is it a perfect movie, but it is a movie well worth watching. It is 3 hours, so if you're gonna watch this movie, I would definitely carve out at least 3 hours and not watch it late at night because you're probably gonna fall asleep. Because, like I said in the beginning, it's not a fighty movie. It's not a lot of fighting going on except the last hour, which the last hour of this movie, it's worth it. That that final battle is one of the scene where the that is one of the best moments. I would say that's the best one of the best moments in the MCU that they've done. Um, so yeah, um, yeah. So I would definitely recommend this movie. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll definitely be bringing you more content. So that being said, be easy